Choosing self-development over love.
Whoa, okay. I gotta say, that title from the Empowerment Journey podcast, it really
Ah.
kind of threw me for a loop. Like it's not every day we hear about people actually putting personal growth over romantic relationships. I mean, is there something to that, or are they kind of, missing out on something big? Well, let's dig in and see what we've got here.
You know what I found really interesting isn't even the whole choosing against love thing, but it's more like, why is self-development such a priority now? The podcast, it gives us three reasons, right? Rediscovering who you are, taking care of your mental health first, and then building like a strong base for, well, for everything.
So it's like they're saying, hold on a sec, I need to figure myself out first, like what I even want before I bring someone else into the picture.
Right. And think about it. How often do we kind of lose ourselves a little in relationships? It's so easy to put their needs first. Maybe you set your passions aside. It's easy to do. But then after a while, you start losing yourself. Yeah, it's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't really be there for someone else if you're running on empty yourself. And that's got to be where prioritizing mental health comes in, don't you think? I mean, relationships, they're amazing, but they can also be a lot.
Totally. And honestly, sometimes we hang on to relationships longer than we should, right? We're
Yeah.
scared to be alone or worried about hurting the other person. But what this podcast is saying is that putting yourself first, even if it means ending a relationship, that's like key for your own well-being.
Okay, so it's not that they're anti-love, it's more like pro taking care of yourself.
Exactly. And that takes us to the third point, that foundation. If you know who you are, what you want out of life, you're going to be in such a better place to build those healthy, strong relationships later on.
Right, like that life coach on the podcast, the expert said, taking time for oneself can be incredibly empowering. It's about understanding your needs and values before inviting someone else into your life.
And to really drive that home, they shared some really inspiring stories, like from their listeners. There was this one woman, she went through a rough breakup, and she just threw herself into painting, started working at. Can you imagine, like, that kind of release,
Yeah.
that transformation?
Wow. It's like she discovered this whole part of herself she never even knew was there. Oh, and then there was that listener who decided to just go for it with their career, even though it meant hitting pause on dating. That's a big decision.
Right. And you know what's wild? By focusing on their career, it actually opened up all these doors for growth and like just pure fulfillment that they never would have seen coming. It makes you wonder, what could we achieve if we just let ourselves put our own development first?
That's a really good question. And I mean, we don't have time to get into all the specifics of their four-step plan for self-development, which, by the way, it involves like setting goals, routines, having a support system, and mindfulness, but it really makes you stop and think. Do you feel like you know yourself well enough to be in a relationship? Or would it be better maybe to just focus on your own personal growth right now? It's definitely something to, I don't know, just think about.